מדברים אמזון, הפודקאסט שמקלף את שכבות העולם הסבוך של אמזון, עם עמית רוזנטל ואלי ונטורה, שני יזמים ותיקים ומנוסים בעולם האי-קומרס. בואו נצא לדרך.
Welcome to another episode of Amazon Talk Podcast. I am Eli Ventura. My colleague here with me is Amit Rosenthal, as every week, and we have another international guest today. But first, summer has arrived. Amit, how are you?
Yeah, cool. I guess like yourself, a lot of family time, a lot of children running around. But yeah, beside that, crazy heat here in Israel. But yeah, like every summer, I guess, things are
And
under control. So far, things are under control.
it's Christmas time for you, right? The shipment of
Yeah,
for the Q4 started.
yeah. Honestly, it started last month and keep going.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay, so please introduce our special guest today.
sure. So our guest, she's Karen Banucci. I hope I pronounced the surname correctly. I met Karen at the amazing trip in China of Amy West, basically a sourcing trip to Canton Fair. There was like a immediate connection between us and between all the group. And I know her story basically, let's say, like guidelines, so to speak, of her story. And I think that's an amazing story that our audience would like to hear about. So I was dreaming about inviting her to our podcast. Finally, we managed to do so. So, Karen, welcome to our podcast and thank you for coming.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. I will say it's Bonici.
Banushi, yeah,
Bonici. It's Maltese, is my grandparents' name, so
right.
proud of it.
Is it
Some of the
Italian?
you know what? It does have some Italian connection, but moreover, it's Maltese. And we have when my grandparents came here to the United States, they kind of Americanized it, or at least that's the system kind of made them blend. But the next generation, we went back to the original pronunciation, Bonici. So we're pretty proud of the name.
Cool.
Perfect. So first, as Amit say, thank you very much for taking your time and record with us. And we'd like to begin by asking you, as we ask all of our guests, to take us on a journey back in time, roughly 6 months before you start your Amazon journey. Please share with us what are you doing these days and what your age, if you want to say, and what inspired you to dive into Amazon world.
Okay, well, I have to go back a tiny bit before that because I had created my unique product like 12 years ago,
Wow.
and I had the opportunity to license that product and get it into Target stores in the United States. And then we ran up against some intellectual property infringement because my product's patented, and then we ran into COVID. So we were really challenged by that. And as well, the partner that I was working with, amazing company that was manufacturing for us at the time and licensing the product, they did not want to further go into commerce or e-commerce with the product. So I was just kind of chomping at the bit, waiting for that move to happen and trying to talk them into it, but they didn't, at the time, they didn't have that business model built out with their company as much. And so I thought, well, I'll just have to do this myself, right? So I had invented it. I invented my product at home as a gift for my nieces and nephews. I sewed it. I gave it to them for Christmas and they loved it. And then it became this thing. I'm like, okay, I've got an idea here. And then I moved forward with it. But then, like I said, 3.5 years ago, they just weren't interested. So 3.5 years ago, I thought, this is it. I got to learn about Amazon. I've got to learn about e-commerce, how to enter that marketplace, how to become a manufacturer slash, kind of importer and find the factories overseas and do it all. So I went online, and Amy, who Amit and I share her as a friend, and she was my coach initially, and she was amazing and helped me figure out how to find the factories and then vet and bring in products, and import the products, A through Z, A through Z to learn it all. So
Wait,
that's
but I do have a question.
yeah.
What did you do? What did you worked? Did you
Mm.
decided to invent a product?
Oh, got it. I'm sorry. Yeah, so
Oh, it's
I
interesting.
actually yeah, so I actually recently retired from that career just a month and a half ago. So
Wow.
I have worked as a professional musician and storyteller
You
through
see,
for the
she's a
last
musician.
28. Yeah, that's why I sing.
Yeah.
Um so I've done that for 28 years, and primarily my work has been in schools and working with kids and educators. And it's the art of spoken word. It looks like theater, or it looks like a little like stand-up comedy, I tell people, but I'm just standing in front of an audience and I'm singing songs and I'm telling stories. I'm speaking stories. The kids are really interactive with me. So it's the traditional form of spoken word, just telling people stories, but I don't read books, right? I just tell the a spoken word story and engage the audience. And the kids are really interactive with me, and they're just playing along with the parts. So yeah, so I did that until a month and a half ago for 28 years, and that's what I was doing all along. Yeah, for my career.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
I have a question, Ellie, if that's
Oh
okay.
yeah.
So, Karen, like typically, right, at least from my experience working with Amazon sellers, normally Amazon, like sellers starting selling on Amazon, and then because of all the Amazon regulations, the barriers and so on, so they're trying to shift outside of Amazon, going to Target and wholesale stores, whatever it is. But you basically did the other way around. So what
Yeah.
was what was so, I don't know, fascinating about like going into Amazon at that time f from your point of view?
So when I was when the product was in Target stores, I was working with a licensing partner. So in other words, they were renting my intellectual property, and I was getting a small piece of the pie, right? So I was getting
Right.
a royalty payment on the IP that I owned. And then going into Amazon, it's me. The whole you do it all. And then
Yeah.
you get to keep all the profits so long as you're profitable and you figure out how to be profitable. So,
Hmm.
and as well, I know that I knew I had a good product. I've proven that I have a great product. And I was just compelled to take it further where I needed to move forward with it, and I couldn't find a licensing partner to take it as far as I wanted it to go. So I decided I'd do it myself. So yeah, but going into the whole Amazon space and learning it all, I will say this. So, the career that I just described to you, I've always thought of myself as a business person, right? So I used to think of myself as an artist, and I had to shift that mindset. Probably about 20 years ago, I shifted my mindset. I was probably in the business for 8 years or so, and I thought to myself, "Oh, I'm just a little solo artist. I do this." But no, at the time, I thought, "No, I really need work in this, right?" So I had to. That's when I became an educator in the storytelling arts, where when I created. Programs, when I was doing artist in residency programs, and really going into schools and working with libraries and civic centers and such, and really just digging into it by creating a service-based business, right? So I had to get into this business mindset. And instead of just thinking I'm just a one-off artist that gets gigs every now and again. And so
Yeah.
that shift of thinking really did result in a career, and I was able to employ myself for, all those years. Um, and so when I came into moving into Amazon, I already had that knowledge, like I had to know, I knew that I had to have ownership of a business, and really step into it. I will say this too. I was married. Well, when I was married, unfortunately, my ex-husband had a commercial concrete company, and I watched him struggle with that. It was very difficult, and it was very, we ended up with a financially struggling through his business. And then we ended up in bankruptcy because of the business. And it I learned quite well um, that you have to be incredibly fiscally responsible when it comes to your business and running your business. So that was what was always great about the service-based business, right? As hard as I worked, I would make money. Now it's like so much more risk when you've got inventory and
Inventory.
oh my gosh, inventory and shipping. We
Yeah.
we appreciate
Okay.
the shipping channels, but man, it costs us some money.
Okay. It
That's
sounds
basically, yeah,
no,
yeah,
no,
please.
continue.
No, I'm saying that's like, Ellie, I'm sure you know that as well. Like Amazon really become now like inventory, like you need to be a professional in inventory management
Wow.
more than anything, right?
Yeah.
Yes. But I want to take back because
Yes.
3.5 years ago, it wasn't that hard to manage the inventory. In 2024, it's really hard to manage inventory on Amazon. But
Sure.
back in the days, it was easier. But still, you're a musician, you're an businesswoman, entrepreneur. I can say entrepreneur, you know a thing or two. You have an idea of a product, you have your product. How do you know if this product will success on Amazon? How do you know how to launch it on Amazon? That I'm saying before we
Yeah.
are searching for how to produce it.
Right. Well, I mean, we had when I first created the product 12 years ago, I hand sewed 500 of these products, right? And I took them
Wow.
to arts and craft shows because I used to do that too as an artist. I always made things and would do art shows, right? That was kind of a very part-time thing. But this, when I was launching this way back 12 years ago, I went out and saw the customer and they stood in front of me in my booth and they were looking at it and they said, "Wow, this is so cool. I love this. Never seen this before." And I got immediate customer feedback. So, as a matter of fact, what I had done was I had applied for my provisional patent before I started selling. And so that gave me 1 year, my provisional patent year gave me the opportunity to get out there in the market. That was my market research, standing in front of the customer and selling. At the time, I thought I was building a business. I wasn't because I wasn't going to be making money because with the way I was producing them at the time, I was hand sewing them, right? And but I was really learning about the customer and whether or not it was a product they wanted. So I got a lot of really, on the ground market research done right there, and then continued to move forward. Then when we did get into Target, we did very well as well. So that was already giving me, and that we had a kids product at the time. What I launched on Amazon though was my adult product before I launched the kids product. And but I had also tested that market when I was hand making products as well. But I, I certainly did research. I did all the data research that you do on Amazon, right? And where are the
Did you
keywords?
learn somewhere?
Oh yeah, yeah, through Amy. Yeah,
Through Amy?
yeah, through Amy's program. Yeah. And so I was learning about how to do data research and then is there a market for this and what is the volume and all. But I am definitely not the kind of person who wants to launch products based on data. I am at heart an artist and I have to have a heart around what I do. And what I've created, it really is meaningful to me and it stands for strength and it stands for, it's a wearable blanket and it wears like a cape. And it it stands to represent that we do hard things and we can do hard things. And I put on my superhero blanket cape every day, my wearable blanket. I have one on my lap right now. I'm sitting in air conditioning in my house, even though it's summertime. So I always have one with me. But so I have to have a heart around it. So I'm that's just not like a data person where I would just launch and people are amazing at that, but that's not my thing. Um, so but yeah, so it kind of
We
gives me a
we
story.
like Eddie, how many episodes did we record already? Like
Almost
95?
one, almost 100.
Almost there. Let's call it almost
Oh,
100. So there is really two approach, Karen. One, like, and mostly women would say that they have to have like some kind of relationship, so to speak, to their product.
yeah.
And the other approach, and normally it's made by men. Hey, we are going to data analysis. We're checking, all the pros and cons, checking all the data, and then we take a decision accordingly. So it's nice to hear that kind of approach, especially when it's become a very successful brand.
That's interesting to know. I guess I'm not surprised to hear that, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and the product and the the brand itself really, like I said, we go through these hard things, and I met you and I talked about some of the things that I went through in China, when I was in China, I went through divorce and bankruptcy prior to coming into launching in Amazon and financial distress for years, and then starting all over on my own with a bank account with was nearly depleted, and I had to climb out of that hole and financially recover. So now I'm in a position, thank goodness the stock market's moving here. And I, and I am, I can say I'm financially recovered. But as well, I've been able to build this business and, you know, I take a salary from my company and it's really exciting to be able to pay yourself. And then I'm still profitable at the end of the year. And I'm really proud of that. But as well, the other thing is, I was going through breast cancer when I ended up launching on Amazon.
Wow.
So I was ready to place my first order with my factory, and it was in the fall of oh, it was 20 COVID was 2020, right?
2020. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was in the fall of 2020. I was getting ready to place my order with my factory, and I was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Wow.
And it was one of those things like, oh gosh, now what? It just this stuff keeps just coming at you, coming at you, coming at you. But you just got to keep stepping forward. And at that point, there was just no way I wasn't going to keep doing this, right? I had already had my 8 months of education or so, and I was ready to put down my money, and so actually, I the day before my surgery for breast cancer, I put down like a $5,000 deposit on my first order.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, the day before surgery. And I didn't realize that about a year ago, I guess I was looking through my books and I made the connection that I had actually done that the day before surgery. But I remember just being at the time, just like this train in motion. I just got to keep going. I got to keep going. And I was not going to stop. Nothing was going to stop me. This was happening. And I remember thinking, I'm going to be sick for a while. I better get this done. So I placed that order and then had to go through, obviously there's recovery from that and chemo and radiation. So that whole first uh,
Batch.
almost 2 years, year and a half. By the time you start and stop, I started to stop the whole thing. It was about 2 years of my illness, and I was building my company, and I had gone through the launch, and I just kept going, and it I just kept putting on my cape.
Wow. This is amazing. Wow. I'm wondering, the first year is the toughest year on Amazon because you need to
Yeah.
launch, you need to understand your market. You don't know anything with PPC. How do you do it? Do you work with freelancers, agencies? Do you do it by yourself?
I did do it by myself. I
Wow.
was again receiving coaching, and working with Amy at the time, and had some, I would occasionally do some private sessions with her, but moreover was just following her program. And so I just kept learning. And I tell you what, I am not a data person. That was rough. I ended up doing, but my first like 6 months, no. It was about 4.5, 5 months my first year. I say we because I've built the company now. I did about 75,000 in sales in about like that 5 months. And then my second year, though, I really blew up, and then we did like 725,000.
Wow.
Wow.
And the last year we hit over 1 million, and then we're continuing our growth. So
But wait, till now, you did only the musician part, the storytelling, and you don't need to
yeah.
spend money in order to do it. Maybe on advertising here and there.
Right.
And now you have an inventory, and if you're selling it 75K, so I guess the inventory is pretty much 25K,
Yeah.
and then you jump. How do you do the jump? Where do you get the money to invest
So
in
I
inventory?
That's a great question. So I got the money to invest in my Amazon business from the licensing, from previously licensing my
Mm,
product, all those at that royalty income. I took it, I put it into my retirement and also saved some, and then also and then put it into the business to build it and buy
wow,
that initial inventory and get, all the fees that it costs to kind of launch on Amazon and, get some of the expertise and all. So yeah, so I
amazing.
first built revenue from the royalty business, took that and moved it into.
Now,
So
now
I have
let's
two
talk about the
questions.
patent. Wait, just one
Yeah,
question.
yeah,
Uh, uh, because
sure.
I'm curious to know about the patent. Because on
Mhm.
Amazon, we discussed about few sellers that add patent, and I'm familiar with another sellers. And I know one of the biggest challenges on Amazon is
Yeah,
to chase the patent, because
yeah.
every year and then the Chinese sellers come with another product that infringe your patent, and you need to call Amazon and to work with it. How did you do it? And if needed?
How did I work my patent into the
I don't know if someone tried to copy your patent
happens all the time,
all the time.
all the time. So, but we are enrolled in the Amazon, what is it called? Is it the Apex program? Where we have shown Amazon our patent
Yeah.
and they have validated, our patent is of course registered, but they have validated and said, "Yep, we believe you. This patent looks good. Our attorneys have been over it, so you're now registered in the system that says you have a valid patent." And so when we see a knockoff come in, and again, we see them all the time, honest to goodness, I take them down in 10 minutes.
Wow. That's
10
good to
minutes.
know. That's
Mhm.
interesting.
That is one thing. I mean, Amazon has been a blessing, right? And they do a lot of things that challenge us and all these rising fees and all that, making things more complicated. But I have been able to just simply take them down um, just like that because we're registered. And because so they just go in and they look at the images and the listing and they can see. And I'm sure it's bots. I assume it's bots reading what their listing looks like and the images.
Yeah.
It's AI, but it's working very well for us. So
But if I remember right, because I think you say wearable blanket, there is another patent in the wearable blanket. It's comfy as a patent as well.
no, that's not patented.
It's not patented. It's only the Shark Tank, the work on Shark Tank. Shark
That is
Tank.
not patented. They have trademarks and such. However, there are tons of sweatshirt hoodie blankets out there. But
Wow.
yeah, yeah. So because they don't have a patent on the wearability, I don't know, maybe they have some sort of patent, but I do know that there are hundreds of sellers who sell wearable hoodie blankets
Yeah.
made out of, blanket fabric, but it looks like a sweatshirt hoodie. So I
Got it.
assume they don't have, it's hard to get a patent for clothing, and that's essentially clothing. So
Makes sense. Amit,
Yeah.
sorry, I took your spot.
Yeah. So I have two questions. One, so Karen, you mentioned that you did basically everything by yourself the first year, and there
Yeah.
is a lot of courses out there that used to sound like a dream. You're gonna work 2 hours, 3 hours a day at the beach. You're gonna do like easy life. So I'm wondering, what's the reality in that sense of like, if you did it yourself the first year, how many hours did you put every day to building your brand? That's question number one. And question number two, considering your journey, your struggle, your obstacles, your breast cancer, everything, what do you do every day to inspire yourself to wake up the next day and to keep fighting to be successful?
Okay. Well, okay. So first question is how much time did I put in? Probably as
Yeah,
much as I do now, which is generally 60 hours a week, I would say. Sometimes I do 40. Sometimes I take a day off. But I I'm very
it's a full-time job.
comfortable.
Yeah, it's a
It's a
full-time job.
full-time job. It wasn't easy. I have a beach right next to me. I will say this, I live in Michigan, so we have lots of lakes. So I live across the street from the lake. And on Fridays, I do go to the beach. In the summer when it's nice, I take a half a day and I call it Floating Friday. And my daughter comes over and we have friends come over and we float on Friday afternoons. But I work 7 days a week. Every day I'm checking, just t ticking little boxes. I try to do the easier things on the weekend. The more mentally taxing things and meetings are Monday through Friday. But I and so how what keeps me going? Um, I love what I've created. I love running this business. I feel very energized by it. I feel very excited about, I feel like I've barely tapped the surface of what's available in e-commerce and then, physical retail and all. I just see it as so massive and it's just so exciting to me. So, um, I really do love my product. I think that it's representative, like I said, of when I first invented it for my nieces and nephews, I made it for them because it's a blanket and a superhero cape in one, essentially. And I said to them, you're going to do hard things in life. Wrap yourself in this cozy hug and believe that you can get through the stuff. That's why I made it. That's why I made it for them. That's why I use it and love it. And I believe that that's a message we all need to be reminded of. Nobody gets away scot-free, right? On this earth. We all go through such difficult, painful things, but I choose happiness. I live a life of, I don't know, I just like to be excited about something, and this really does excites me. I do wake up in the morning and I'm excited to go to work. Sometimes I'm tired and I'd rather not, but most
Yeah.
days I really and once I get rolling, I'm just, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I dig it.
Do you
Amazing.
have any ideas of selling your brand?
I do. I do have the idea of an exit in mind. Um, and I think I have a couple years ago before I would consider that. So I'm trying to build it. Now I'm hiring right now. Talk about hiring. And when did I hire? I will say that I hired into that second year, which was the full year, about 4 months in, I did hire somebody to do PPC. So I've started to hire more and more people. I've actually just hired finally a social media manager that I have a meeting with this evening. And then I've also hired a PR agency. So I'm starting to spend money that way and to really, really flesh out and build this brand. Because I think it's so fabulous and tappable and growable and then exitable.
Mhm.
So I do see a potential exit, but I'm not sure how I would. I think that the exit might need to include me engaged in the brand still because um, my heart is in it, and I believe I have a voice for this brand that can keep resonating with people, and I think that I don't know. If I didn't do this, I would certainly I'm not going to stop working. I like work. It's my, so long as it fits, I don't want to work full time, you know, in 5 years from now, probably. But
How do you
I will do
say,
something that's
love what
also
you do and you won't work a day in your life?
exactly, exactly. I don't want to work 60 hours a week though. So but I just think you know, um, I launched this Amazon business. I read the other day at 55 up is when um, some of the most successful entrepreneurs open businesses, right? So I opened this business, started this uh, when I was past 55. And um, honestly, it's very exhilarating and exciting and helps my brain, right? So I am mentally probably more acute than ever in my lifetime. And all these challenges, it really helps. It's my Sudoku. I tell my friends who are getting close to retiring, it's like my Sudoku exercises when
Yeah.
it's business.
That's what
So
I'm telling everyone that every challenge of Amazon, Amazon is changing the way they charging disposed product. It's challenging. It's terrible, but it's challenging your mind because you need
it
to
does.
think much better how to reduce the units that you need to dispose.
That's right. Yeah.
They're keeping you alive, Amazon.
Yeah. We don't dispose, we donate our products to the homeless.
So
And
you remove
we don't
them.
we, we have to we donate returned open products to the homeless. So um
Amazing.
but we don't have, I mean, there's nothing we've ever had to dispose. In that products continue to sell. So we don't, yeah.
Perfect. Karen, we're heading to the end of this session, and we have a steady question that we ask same question that we ask
Okay.
all of our guests.
Okay.
And the question is, what will you do with $10 million if you want them tomorrow?
Okay. Gosh, I would still keep working. I would still keep working on doing exactly what I'm doing. I probably would maybe move toward that exit a little faster. I might spend a little more money. Like I said, going earlier, I told you I went through bankruptcy. Watched my ex-husband unfortunately lose his business. And so I'm a little cautious to spend money on my business. That's probably been one of the most challenging things. So putting money into my business, maybe I'd spend a little more money in the business, build it faster, bigger, better, and then move toward that exit faster. And then I would start another business.
Never rest.
Yeah. I mean, I have ideas. I have great, unique ideas that I don't have time for. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I used to make a food product many years ago, and I sold it at farmers markets in my community. I guess I'm a serial entrepreneur. I love it. I thrive on it, and yeah, I would just probably open another business, but I'd staff it up faster so I could work
Yeah,
a little less on it. So yeah, I don't know when I'm going to stop working. I'd just probably buy another business, start another one. Yeah.
Karen, I think you're more than a serial entrepreneur. I think you're a true superhero, as you said.
Uh,
Yeah.
And I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for your amazing story. And it was really amazing.
Thank
And I wish you many good luck. But I'm sure that you will have your luck and your success.
Thank you. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be here. I do want to say I'm just feels like a grateful person too. So I'm grateful for the challenges that I've had that have been able to get past them and then continue to thrive. So thanks for letting me have time to share my story with your audience. I love listening to other people's entrepreneurial stories. So I hope that
I
this
think that you need to learn
inspiration.
Hebrew. You need to learn Hebrew
Yeah,
and hear all our stories because we have great stories.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to visit Israel someday. I um I have friends that are going there in January. They've been telling me all about the trip. And Amit tells me how beautiful it is. So one
You are
day.
most than welcome anywhere. We are welcome you here for sure.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Karen, thank you very much.
All
Thank
right.
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.